Hey YouTube, this is Licious Kid from ClimaxCombo, back with another Leaks of the Weeks. This week continuing off with Kill la Kill, Log Horizon, Angel Beats, and Little Busters Refrain. I don't think I mentioned this last video, but do keep in mind that Kill la Kill is coming to English at August, I think. And Angel Beats will be coming to America in July. So yeah, if you are English players, do look forward to that, as you know, you get to see the cards before the English site releases them. So anyways, not much to say, so let's get started. Once again, I would like to mention that I'm not exactly a Little Busters player, or I have much experience with it, so I don't really know the synergies with the old cards. So if there's some obvious synergies that I am missing with these new cards interacting with the old cards, please tell me. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. So first off, we have this one Orioko. She's 6'5", R. Um, yeah, she's an oversized 1-0, so of course she has a demerit, which is when this card reverses its opponent in battle, send that character to its owner's stock. This effect is mandatory, so it's not worth it because giving your opponent stock at any point of the game is pretty stupid, so I wouldn't be running this. Next up we have this 2-1 Akatsuki. This Akatsuki's like what the hell. Anyways, so first off, it's a pay 1 backup, but when you use the backup, you can pay an extra 2 and then shuffle your waiting room back with your deck. This is just like the Sheena from Angel Beats, you know, because they're both ninjas, I guess. They both have the free shuffle when you pay a total of 3. And, you know, Sheena being really good, Akatsuki is going to be no exception. So, you know, Sheena will probably be seen in most Log Horizon decks as a 1 or 2 of. And her being uncommon is also awesome as well. So, yeah, great leak for Log Horizon on Monday. Next up, we have this 2-1 Serara 4K. Uh, she's an assist. She's a level assist in front, and when one of your other battling characters are reversed, choose one of your other characters, and it gets plus 1k until the end of the turn. A level assist is nice. Kind of surprising they got one since they got Shiroe already. But then her other effect is actually pretty good. It's like, what's that guy's name in Shauna, the Kamushin, the 1-1 assist that they have, except it's only 500 in front, and when a character gets reversed. Kamushin pretty much has this exact second effect, and that effect is actually pretty damn annoying. So having that on a level assist is pretty cool if, you know, Log Horizon doesn't end up having a really good level 1 or level 2 game, and they can't build enough stock for both Shiroe and Akatsuki at level 3, then maybe Serara will be their assist of choice instead of Shiroe, because running both Shiroe and Serara I think is too stock intensive. So I think you have to choose one or the other. So if the deck can't manage Shiroe, then I think people will go to Serara, and she's not a bad level assist to be honest. So yeah, I guess it's a cool backup plan for Log Horizon decks. And she's only an R, so cool stuff. Next up we have Little Buster Refrain. This is Sasami 3-2 double R green. She's just sports. When you have 4 or less cards in your hand, she gets plus 2k. And then her other effect, during the turn that this card is played, when this card reverses its opponents in battle, you may pay cost, which is discarding 1 card. And then if you do, send that character to its owner's clock. I think Sasama is pretty cool. Yeah, she needs the -4 hand size to gain the plus 2k. And you do discard the card after it reverses its opponent's character, so it might be a little difficult to hit that as soon as you hit level 3. But honestly, like mid level 3, accomplishing this first part is not too hard. Her being 12k base is pretty strong, and just having a non-climax dependent clock shooter for Little Busters is actually really cool, because the other clock shooter in the form of Haruka is climax dependent on the gold bars, and you know, climax dependent clock shooters are, you know, climax dependent, so you have to be forced to run the gold bars and you have to be forced to run Haruka. However, with this, the anti-heal Little Buster decks can run this Sasami, because the anti-heal builds run, I believe they run, I know they run the Little Busters combo, of course with the combos with Riki, and I think with the Gate. But with Sasami, they could both still run both of those along with Sasami, because she's not climax dependent. So overall, I think Sasami is a pretty solid card. A welcome addition to Little Busters is what I will say that Sasami is. And then this other card, which is pretty stupid. During the start of your opponent's encore phase, if this card is in the front stage and it's not reversed, you may pay cost, which is pay 1, discard a card. If you do, place all your opponent's character to rest. Too bad, Kyosuke is only 3k base. If your opponent is retarded, or they're really losing, if they're losing really hard and they can't reverse Kyosuke for some damn reason, And I guess, you can get this off, and all your characters get get only, like, you pay one, you discard a card, and all your characters get a free encore, essentially, but there's no way Kyosuke's gonna live, so sorry, Kyosuke. Not gonna work out. And next up, we have this Angel Beats leak. Pretty surprising that came out on Monday, but nonetheless, let's go over it. It's 3-2 double R, 9.5k. She's number 113 double R. Yuri, Bei. When she's played from hand to stage, you can draw 2, discard a card. That's cool. I don't think Angel Beats had a level 3 like that. And her other effect is when she climax combo with the core of the world. When she attacks with the core of the world, you can deal 1 to your opponent, and this gets plus 15 power until the end of the turn. So if you get this off, you deal 1, and then she gets plus 15, and then she goes up to 11k base until the end of your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool, I guess. I honestly don't know how I feel about this card, because Angel Beats already has a really good finisher in the original booster 3-2 Yudipe, the one that's 10k base, and you can pay 4 and then shoot them for X amount of damage. That card's already really freaking good as a game ender. But this card, we don't know what it combos with yet. I'm assuming it's going to be 2k1. I really hope it's 2k1, because the other 3-2 Yudipe already combos with the gate. And to be honest, Angel Beats already has enough gates. It already has 8 gates, so giving them another gate is kind of pointless. And the other choice it can be is plus 2 soul, which I really hope it's not, or 2k1, which I kind of hope it is. And then there's free stock 1 soul, which I really don't want it to be free stock 1 soul either. So I'm just hoping that what it combos with is 2k1 soul, which is pretty cool, I guess, because 2k1s aren't bad. And I don't think Angel Beats has a red 2k1. I'm not too sure because I just singled the entire set, but whatever. So I don't know, this combo, draw 2, ditch 1 is cool, but you cannot change into this like the other level 3s, like the other level 3 Yudipe or the other level 3 Kanade, or even the level 2 Yui that can come out early at level 2. This Yudipe, you have to wait until level 3, and Angel Beats already has a really good finisher. Yeah, this one is costless, but it's not too hard building stock with Angel Beats just because you have that whole global encore going on. And so I don't know, we'll have to see what it combos with, and just like the rest of the set, for me to really see if this Yudipe has a spot in Angel Beat decks. Because like I said, we already have a really good finish. So is this one really necessary? I don't know, who knows, we'll see. Maybe you could run both for like some really fast ending Angel Beat deck, but Angel Beats, heals a lot and goes for precise damage, so I don't know, we'll have to see. But as of right now, I don't really like this card. But I really do like the art. Oh, well, enough ranting about Yudipe. Damn, I've been ranting about her for a while. Anyways, Tuesday's leak, we have this one Mako 5k. She's an R. When this card declares an attack, this gains X power, where X is the number of close or family characters multiplied by 500. Other close or family characters, so if you have a full field of close and family, then she'll hit 7k on attack, which I guess is nice, because if she lives, then you can keep attacking with her, but she's probably not going to, just because she's a 5k base. But nonetheless, she's one of those those on play big power cards, those one-shot cards. And yeah, every yellow series has every yellow card has one of these, and this is the one for Kill a Kill, so whatever. Not the worst thing ever, not the best thing, so we'll go on with our lives. Next up, we have this 1-1 Shiroi, 6k, he's an R. Let's see, he combos with the pants, right here. He's 1-1 6k, Glasses Magic. When your other character declares an attack with the Climax Lock Horizon, which is the pants, and this character is standing, you may pay the cost. If you do, that character gets plus 1500 until the end of you can pay cost, or just pay 1, put this to rest, and if you do, that character gets plus 1500 power until the end of the turn. And the following effect: if this card reverses opponent's battle, you may draw 1 card. And lastly, during the start of your opponent's attack phase, you may pay the cost, which is just pay 1. If you choose one of your weapon or magic characters, and it gets plus 1500 power until the end of the turn. I don't think this combo is very good, just because it combos with the pants, and pants is not very strong. And at level 1, I think the Nyanta combo is pretty good. That came in the TD, so I think just 4 2k1s or 4 gates would probably be ran, because I think pants isn't very good. This first effect is just like whatever. because he has to be standing, so you can't attack with him first before you use his combo. So yeah, so this combo is not that great. And second of all, this other effect is, to be honest, whatever. It's kind of stock intensive just because Shidoi is already 1-1 as it is. So overall, I don't think Shidoi is worth running. Next up, we have this 3-2 Haruka. She's also double R. She's 10k base. She's red. 2 soul. When you have 5 or less cards in your deck, she gets -1 hand. She gets -1 hand, so she can come out as early as level 2. And her other effect is during the start of your opponent's attack phase, you may discard a card. If you do, choose one of your characters with Haruka, Kanata, or Riki in its name, place them to stand and swap their position, and those characters get plus 1500 power until the end of the turn. Oh, and she's also a committee chairman and twins. I think it's cool. The whole swap thing at level 2 can be pretty devastating because you can just dominate the field. And if you never really have to play, if 2 of your characters can, force your opponents to crash or side, then I think it's well worth discarding 1 card to, prevent a lot of damage and make your opponent minus if they do decide to crash. But the only problem is that it works with Haruka, Kanatas, and Rikis. I can't think of really good level 2 Haruka, Kanatas, or Rikis at the top of my head. For the level 3, yeah, it's cool because, the level 3 Riki, if uses effect on play and you target himself, then he's 13k base, and, that's going to be pretty hard to run over. There is the Haruka from the old set at level 3 that has the -1 soul in front, so if your opponent kind of like messes up, then you can put the -1 soul Haruka in front of a level 1 or level 2, and they might deal 0 damage to potentially. And yeah, I just can't really think of a really good Haruka, Kanata, or Riki at level 2. So I don't know how good this card will be just because she's pretty specific. But if there is a really good level 2 Haruka, Kanata, or Riki that I'm missing, then please do tell me, because I can't think of one at the top of my head at level 2. So yeah, overall, Kanata is pretty cool, I guess just depending on if there's any other good level 2 characters of these cards. So yeah, Kanata, I guess we'll just have to see with the rest of the set, or maybe I'm just missing something. Anyways, let's go on. The other Little Busters Refrain card is 1-0-4-5 Kengo. Sports, place 2 of your characters to rest, choose one of your opponent's characters in the center stage. If it loses 1000 power until the end of the turn. No, this card is just freaking stupid, bad, so sorry, Kengo. Lastly, we have this 1-1 Yuripe backup. She is from the TD because the TD is getting 3 or 4 new cards. I'm not exactly sure how much, but it's like 4 or 3. And this is one of the new cards coming in the TD. So it's a 1-1 backup. It's only 1500 power, but when you use this backup, if you have 2 or more death characters, which is not too hard to accomplish, choose one of your own battling characters against X power, where X is the level multiplied by your level by 500. So you can't split the power because it has to be a battling character. Second of all, it's multiplied by your level, so this is like whatever, to be honest, because you use it at level 1 because you have to, because it's level 1 backup. At level 1, it's a 2k backup, which is standard. At level 2, it becomes a 2-5 backup, which is pretty weak. But then at level 3, it becomes a normal 3k backup. So this card is honestly whatever, to be honest. It's it's cute, it's Yuripe and all, but I mean, I guess it's kind of like scales into the late game because Angel Beats usually don't run like a 3k backup. They usually just run like the Kanade 2k backup, the Sheena backup, and the event backup, the 3-5 backup. So I guess this is pretty cool at level 3 because now you could have a level 3 back. You essentially have a level 3 backup, but it works at level 1 as well. So I guess Yuripe is alright. You could replace the old Kanade backup with this Yuripe. The only problem with that is that you can't search out this backup like you can with the Kanade backup because the Kanade is the student council, and if you run the 0-0 searcher that searches for student councils on reverse, then you can always search for that backup. But if you don't care about that, or if you're not running that searcher, or you just like Yuripe, then this is a solid alternative to the 1-1 backup that we already have. So, not the worst card ever, not the best card ever. I was really hoping for like a 1-0 2k backup, to be honest, but can't get it all. So Yuripe, not bad, it's cute. I'd probably run it just cause. So yeah, that's Yuripe for you. And that is all of Tuesday Sleep. Wednesday's leaks, we have this Ryuko. She's 002k power. She is anti-heal, so Kill la Kill does have anti-heal, but I will just go over what anti-heal is once again. Actually, yeah, first I'll explain what anti-heal is. When this card is in memory, whenever you or your opponent places a card from their clock into your respective clock into the waiting room, that player place the top 2 cards of his stock into his waiting room. If that player does not, you take 1 damage. So essentially, every time you heal, you have to pay an extra 2. If you don't, you take 1 damage. So overall, every time you want to heal, let's say you play a 3-2 healer, you have to pay an extra 2 to actually heal, or you're going to take 1 damage. So generally, it's not worth paying 4 stock to heal 1 damage, so that's why it's called the anti-heal, because it's usually not worth it, but you can heal if you really wanted to. So yes, this is the anti-heal, and this effect does stack if you have like 2 Ryukos in memory, and let's say your opponent heals just by accident or just because, let's say he heals. If he wants to heal, he has to pay 4 extra, 2 for each Ryuko, and let's say he heals, but he doesn't want to pay the extra 2, then he'll take 2 damage respectively from each Ryuko. So yeah, that's Ryuko for you, anti-heal. For all you English players, this will probably be the first anti-heal you'll get, unless Project Diva gets one or Angel Beast gets one, but if Angel Beast gets one, that's actually kind of stupid. But yeah, this will probably be the first anti-heal you'll see in English meta. Anyways, how she goes in memory. When this card is reversed in battle, you may pay 1, discard a card. If you do, send this card to memory, and then get this Ryuko from your waiting room and put it to the original slot that she was in. What this Ryuko does, she's 1175. This card cannot be reversed by your opponent's auto effects, but when this card is sent from stage to waiting room, clock yourself 1 damage. So this first effect generally means that it can't be suicided by level 1 suiciders, which is nice, because, level 1 suiciders, if this card didn't have that effect, it'd be pretty shitty, just because a level 1 suicider would always just force you to clock yourself 1 damage, but, because she has this first effect, then it's going to be kind of hard to run over the Ryuko. Anyways, however, she does but her being an oversized level 1, she does have her demerit of, when sent to waiting room, you have to clock yourself 1 damage. So if you play over the Ryuko, you still take 1 damage. So you're always going to take 1 damage from the Ryuko if she either dies or, you play over her. So that is her downside. So, at level 0, if you change into this, then, who gives a shit? If they somehow manage to kill Ryuko, then, good for them. I mean, that's pretty damn hard because she's 7-5. But at level 0, you clock yourself. Let's say they do, you clock yourself 1 damage, big whoop. But then at level 1, it's not too bad either, just because it's like 1 damage. It hurts, but you'll get over it. But then as the game goes on, at level 2, at level 3, this card it becomes pretty dead, just because clocking yourself 1 damage at like 2, starting like at 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, starting at 2-4 to level 3, clocking yourself 1 damage is pretty questionable. So, as the game goes on, Berserk Ryuko does become more and more dangerous for you. But nonetheless, it's a pretty cool card. Well, I'll go over the rest of the leaks later this week, because there's other cards that synergize with this Berserk Ryuko, so I'll go over that. I'll go over Ryuko in the end. I'll come back to her. Next up, we have this 1-1 Masato. 7k, when this card battles, all players cannot activate backups from their hands. Nah, not that good. Little Busters, doesn't need this. Doesn't help them in any shape or form, so yeah, whatever. 1-1 Masato. Big whoop. Next up, we have this Rin. She's 2-1 8k. She's animal, like always. She's green. When she attacks with this gold bars, place the top 2 card of your deck into stock. So you get 2 blind stock when you use this combo, which is pretty cool, I guess. But blind stock is blind stock. However, if you attack last with Rin, attack with her last. You should attack with her last. That way you get the 2 blind stock at the very bottom of your stock. So that way you can pay it out at the very top, I should say. The very top of your stock, so you can pay them out in case they are climaxes. I don't think this card is just going to be ran just because the other gold bar combo is with Haruka, or the other gold bar is with the Little Busters one that synergizes with the level 3 Riki and the level 1 Riki, which a lot of players already run. So I don't know if this gold bar one has a home in Little Busters deck, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be ran, but I could be wrong. Next up, what is this, Thursday's leak? Yes, 2/1 double R yellow Mako. She's 5k. She's family. She's a level 6 in front. But this is what I'm talking about. She combos with the wind trigger. And she also works, synergizes with this Ryuko, as you can see in the picture. And if you see the anime, then this is very fitting. Anyways, when you play the wind trigger, you may discard a card from your hand. Send this exact Berserk Ryuko from your field to memory. And if you do, choose one close or family character from your hand and place it to any slot on the stage. So essentially, you play Mako. If you have a Ryuko on the field, you play the wind trigger, you discard a card, you send this Ryuko off to memory, and then you get to play any close or family character from your hand. This also includes level 3s because there is no restriction to it. So you can play Satsuki because she's close. You can play you can play any level 3. You can play the TD level 3. You can play another level 2. Hell, you can even play level 0 if you're retarded. And yeah, and this effect will go off. So how I feel about this, it's pretty cool, but the only problem with this is that it's combos with the wind trigger. And if you want to run Satsuki, you're probably gonna run 4 2k1s. And if you have 4 2k1s, then you want some plus triggers in some shape or form, and that would probably be gate. So you want to run 4 gates with the 4 2k1s. However, with the wind trigger, it becomes a little questionable because you're still probably going to run 4 wind triggers or 4 2k1s with Satsuki. And what are you going to run? You're going to run 2 winds and 2 gates? That's just kind of weird, you know? Kind of inconsistent. So the only problem with this and also, yeah, besides the whole combo or the whole climax space is, you know, do you really want to run Berserk Ryuko? Because she's still pretty dangerous later into the game. And this combo really kills your hand size. Because you play the 1k1 soul, that's 1 card in your hand. You discard a card from your hand, that's 2 cards from your hand. And then you have to remove Ryuko, and then you get a card from your hand, and you play it onto the stage. That's 3 cards from your hand when you use this combo. So it's very hand intensive. And you have to run the wind trigger, and you have to run Berserk Ryuko. But you do get a level 3 from your hand, and if you can manage to keep that level 3 alive, then, you know, you can build back your hand size because this combo is really cheap on stock. So if you get this combo off, and if you can, you know, just keep your level 3 alive all the way into level 3, then it can be worth it because you can build back your hand size with, you know, clocking yourself. They have the 2/2 event in the TD that lets you pay 2 salvage 2, which can, you know, build up back your hand size. And I don't know, I guess hopefully they have another bond, another way to build back your hand size. But if Kill la Kill does have a good way to manage your hand size, then I think this combo can be pretty cool. Yeah, it can be pretty cool. It's just kind of, the space is really tight, and if you want to run Berserk Ryuko, and we'll have to see what other level 3s are worth playing with this effect. So, yeah, Mako, I think is a cool card, a pretty welcome addition to the Kill la Kill series. Oh man. Anyways, next up we have this 2/2 Masato 5/5. He's 2 soul. He's a level 2 suicider. When this card reverses his opponent in battle, you may pay 1. If you do, choose a card from your opponent's waiting room and place it on top of his deck. No, I don't think this card's worth it. They already have a 2/1 they already have a level 2 suicider, I believe, in the first set. I can't remember who it is. Was it Haruka? Or was it Kanata? I don't remember. But anyways, they already have a 2/1 level, or 2/1. They already have a level 2 suicider that's cost 1, and I believe it pumps power on attack. I'm not too sure, but I think that the old suicider, the old level 2 suicider is better than this Masato, just because he's 2/2. And this paying 1 is, you know, is a total of 3, which is pretty stock intensive. So I don't think Masato is going to work out. Next up, we also have this Rin and Riki assist. 500 in front, and it combos with the wind trigger. You can pay 1 when you play the wind trigger. If you do, choose one of your characters, and it gets plus 2k and 1 soul. 500 in front it's not even global. It's like whatever. It's traitless. It combos with the wind trigger. And then you have to pay 1 on top of that to get this effect off. And, you know, I think Little Busters already has better level 0 assist, and they don't really need to run the wind triggers in their decks. So overall, I don't think this assist has any place in Little Busters deck. Anyways, let's go on to Friday's leak. The coolest stuff, as always. So here we have this 3-2 Ryoko. She is double R, level 3. Yeah, 3-2 Ryoko, double R. She is quite a mouthful, so let's get right to it. She's clothes and weapon. When she's placed from hand to stage, you may choose one Junketsu from your waiting room. Place it into memory. If you do, choose one Ryuko's best getup Senketsu from your waiting room and place it underneath this card as a marker. That card is this right here. I'll go into that in just a second. Her other effect is, when she's reversed in battle, you may pay 1 and reveal one close character from your hand, put it underneath her as a marker, and if you do, put this card back to rest. Lastly, her last effect, during the start of your encore phase, you may pay 2. If you do, deal X damage to your opponent where X is the number of markers underneath her. And of course, this damage can be cancelled. I'll go over the other two cards first, before I go over Ryuko. Her other card is the Senketsu that she kind of combos with, is this one, 0015. When he's placed from hand to stage, choose one of your other characters with a marker underneath it. It gets plus 1k until the end of the turn. That's whatever. When this card is a level 0 Suicider, which is cool. And this event is 1135 backup. It's Junketsu. The name is Junketsu, so it's a 3-5 backup. So essentially, this Junketsu has the exact same name as the other Junketsu we saw last week. Let me just find it really quick. Right here. So this Junketsu has the exact same name as Junketsu, and since they both have the exact same name, they both work with each other. So this 3-2 Satsuki works with this Junketsu, and this Ryuko works with this Junketsu as well. But because they both share the same name, you can only run 4 of either one. So you can only have 2 of this and 2 of this. You can't have, 4 of both because they share the exact same name, and as you know, you can only have 4 of the same card in your deck with the same name. So yeah, that being said, let's go over what Ryuko is. So when she comes from hand to stage, you remove a Junketsu, and then you get the Senketsu from your graveyard and put it underneath her as a marker. So off the bat, she comes with 1 marker, and she does compress you 2 because she removes a Junketsu, and you get a Senketsu from your waiting room underneath her as a marker, which is nice. When she essentially can never die so long as you have enough hand size, and I guess it's not hard to pay 1. So I'm just gonna the real hard problem with keeping her alive is the hand size, because every time she dies, you pay 1, and then you get a closed character from your hand and put her underneath her as a marker. It has to be closed, so it does not work with the Mako, unless they have a level 3 Mako in her Sekai or in her Goku. I forgot what they're called, Goku Seifukus, whatever. Unless they have the level 3 Mako in her battle costume. But anyways, as I said, so Ryuko can essentially never die. She has to either die. She has to get anti-encored by some shape or form. She has to either be sent to memory, sent to bottom deck, or sent to clock on the opponent's turn. Yeah, so she essentially has to be sent somewhere else, which can be pretty difficult for some decks. Not every deck has a way of accomplishing that. But anyways, so pretty much every time you try to kill her, she gets more and more markers. And then, the more markers she has, the more damage she deals to you. Because at the start of your encore phase, if you pay 2, you deal X damage where X is the number of markers you have. She comes with 1. If you try to kill her once, she comes with 2. If you try to kill her again, she comes with 3. And this keeps just going on and on and on, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for you. And she doesn't even have to be in the front row for this. So let's say you get 2 or 3 markers, and that's a pretty good number. I don't think you need more than that. If you try to burn them like 5 damage or 6 damage, I think that's a little too greedy, and they're probably going to cancel that. So I would usually probably keep Ryuko at 2 or 3 markers. And when she hits that number, you can just put her in the back. Just crash all your characters to your opponent, and then at the end of your encore phase, you're always going to build 3 stock on your turn when you attack. So you always have enough to pay for this effect, and you'll deal X damage to your opponent. And so with this, almost have 4 attacks. You essentially have 4 attacks every turn, which is pretty crazy. And she can come out as early as level 2 if you use Mako. You play Mako, you play the combo, you remove this, you play the level 3 Ryuko from your hand, you compress yourself 2, and then, Ryuko just starts ramming your opponent, and they can't really get rid of her, because if they try, you pay 1, and then you put a marker underneath her, and then, she comes back. It is really hand intensive, but, that is something you can do, is what I'm trying to say. And if she's in the center field, if she's in the center with the old Mako assist last week that was shown, then you can't bounce her either. Because if you bounce her, then she loses all her marker. But however, if you keep her in the middle and your opponent has win triggers, then you can just keep her in the middle, and then, they can't even bounce her unless they bounce Mako first, and then they get bounced Ryuko, which is going to be a pretty hard task to accomplish. So overall, I think this Ryuko is really cool. Yeah, I just think this Ryuko is just really awesome. It seems like a really fun card. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you always have 4 attacks, essentially, if you have this Ryuko on the field. And it's just pretty hard to get rid of, and it's just a really cool card, I think, and I'm really excited to see what people do with Kill la Kill with this card, with the Makos, with the the Satsuki. We haven't even seen all the level 3s yet, but I'm already excited for this set just alone from Ryuko, Satsuki, this combo, and the anti-heal. And oh yeah, of course, the anti-heal makes it even harder for your opponent, to outlast you with this Ryuko. So overall, I think Kill la Kill is a really cool set. And you're going to be running Senketsu because he's a level 0 Suicider. You have to run at least 2 to 4 of this card. Probably 4 just to make this combo more consistent. Because if you refresh really fast just because you had an awkward timing, just because, you played too much of the Junketsu event, or you just brainstormed too much just because you had a bad draw and you just drew into way too many climaxes, then, it can be a little iffy. But I think most of the time Ryuko will work out for you. And also, you don't have to run that other Junketsu event. I know somebody in the comment last week said that this card is pretty contradictory to this, because every time you mill, if you mill 4 and if you mill too fast, then you might refresh too fast before you can even get Satsuki's effect off. But with the new Junketsu, this shouldn't really be a problem, just because Junketsu is a 1135 backup, and 1135 event backups are welcome to any set. So overall, really solid cards for Kill la Kill. Next up, we have this 2-1 Kengo. Man, I've been talking forever. Anyway, this 2-1 Kengo, uncommon, 8k. If you have 7 more stock, this card gets plus 2k. This is like that stupid Suicider they used to have. The old Suicider, the Mio Suicider. I mean, that's just hitting 7 stock is too difficult. So no Kengo. Why do all the Kengo cards suck? Kengo's a cool guy. Anyways, no, this card sucks. Lastly, we have this interesting card. It's a 1/1 3k. He's traitless, he's rare. But anyways, let's go over what he does. He's an assist. So assist, all your characters in front of this get 500 power where X let me redo that. All your characters in front of this gain power X, where X is the number of characters you have with assist in its name multiplied by 500. So usually you'll have 2 assists in the back, 1 him and 1 of another card, and then he becomes a 1000 in front essentially. If you have another assist in the front row, then he becomes 15. But do keep in mind it says the word with assist, so this card does not work with global assists, because the global assists don't have assist in the name. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm sure many of you guys know that, but just something to think about. But his real effect is this one. During the attack phase, when you or your opponent returns a character from their respective waiting room back to their respective hands by your own ability, that player discards 2 cards from his hand into the waiting room. So once again, this is anti-salvage in another form. The one for Contai Collection was -3 soul to all characters. However, this one is discarding 2 cards. And yes, this does affect both players, just like the Contai Collection one. And it does only work during the attack phase, so you can still bond, you can still use events to salvage, etc., etc. But this anti-heal, or this anti-salvage, I should say, is maybe not as good, because the Contact Collection one is a 500 global, costless, level 0 one. However, this is a level 1 one, level 1, anti-salvage. It costs 1. And it's only, I don't know, Little Busters generally don't use assist, I think. They usually use the Rin. Oh wait, I lied. They have the anti-heal. Oh yeah, so if you run the anti-heal assist, then you can run this with it, which is pretty cool. Huh, I didn't think about that. Anyways, you could use the anti-heal with this, so that's nice. So you can both have anti-heal and anti-salvage on the field for Little Busters. However, this I don't know how I feel about this one, because this can actually work for your opponent. Because let's say they attack, they gate, okay, they want to gate, let's say they salvage something, they discard 2 cards, they can discard 2 climaxes or something. They can just hand filter. They can abuse this. They can use this to their own advantage by filtering their own hand before refresh, or just, you know, at any point of the game. Because it's essentially only a -1, because when you salvage, you +1, and then you discard 2, you -1 in total. So it's not the worst thing ever, but it is pretty annoying. I mean, it will make your opponent think twice about if they want to salvage or not. So overall, I think Kyosuke is an interesting card. It's you know, anti-anything is a welcome addition to any set. So I'm curious to see if Kyosuke is going to be ran in Little Busters deck. So yeah, I'm excited to see about Kyosuke. You know, yeah, more anti-salvage is gay and annoying, but it's, yeah, you know, we have to get over it. I mean, Bushiroad just doesn't want us salvaging anymore, or gating. And this also works with combos too. It works against gates and climax combos, like the Silica combo. So yeah, overall, that is the leaks for this week. Friday didn't have any Angel Beast or Lock Horizon, which I'm really sad about, but whatever. Overall, really cool leak of the weeks for Kill la Kill. All the other sets are pretty mediocre. I'll just go over everything again. No, yes. Oh, yeah. If Shiroi doesn't work, then I think Sarada is a cool addition. Sasami, probably. I think it's cool. Yeah, welcome addition. Good job, Sasami. Kyosuke, hell no. Questionable. Well, no, whatever. No. I don't think so, because I can't think of a good Kanato or Riki or Haruka, but we'll have to see. Kengo, hell no. Yeah, I think it's cute. I'll probably run it. Anti-heal, yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? No. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Like I said, this combo is just really hand intensive, and it's pretty, you know, Kill la Kill is pretty tight on space, but if you're running the anti-heal, and you don't want to run any Satsuki just because she heals and there's no real point, then, you know, you can just run 4 gates and 4 wind triggers and have a good time. So yeah, this combo will have to, but the level assist is welcome, so yes, probably run the level assist just because it's a level assist. This combo is, I don't know, this combo I would have to play test to see how I truly feel about it. But as of right now, I think it's really cool. Seems really fun. So yeah, I think it's cool. And no, this whole 3 cards is stupid. And this vehicle is just really cool, really awesome. Seems really fun. Seems really crazy. Yeah. Overall, this vehicle is super awesome. Junketsu being this event is really cool as well. So overall, an exciting week, leaks of the weeks for Kill la Kill players. For everything else, pretty lackluster. But that's not surprising, because Kill la Kill does come out in 2 weeks already. Yeah, 2 weeks. Dang, that's fast. And Little Busters is only an extra booster set. I think Little Busters is only missing the level 3 Rin and level 3 Saya. Sasami's announced. Haruka's announced. I think level 3 Riki. I don't know. But overall, I've been talking way too much. So yeah, that is the leaks of this is the leaks of the week, guys. Tell me what you guys think about these cards in the comment below. And yeah, until next time, guys. Oops.